So we're gonna talk about Gabrielle Union and her policing of her stepson's Instagram likes. Yes, we're gonna talk about Miss Booty Eater herself. So if you're tired of the conversation of colorism, it's not going anywhere. It's only gonna get deeper and bigger. It grows, which can be good or bad. I don't know, but it's definitely gonna get. I think people gonna use it to capitalize and make money off of it, whatnot. Obviously, but it's not going anywhere. So brace yourself. But I didn't like the way Gabrielle Union decided to police her stepson's Instagram likes. First of all, I hope she got permission to talk about this personal stuff and make a TED talk out of it, because we already have problems with black kids not telling their parents shit because black parents tell everybody your business. And imagine, that shit has got to be exemplified for them, being that um she's at least a B actress and their father's a 3-time NBA champion. But I don't know. I get, as I've said before, the colorism argument. I go so far where I get off the boat is when I listen to some of these colorist chicks channels and they start complaining about who people choose and whatnot. And it's weird because it's like everybody discriminates and has their issues, but for whatever reason we act like colorism it should be one of the reasons why people can't. Right? I'm gonna talk about the Mary daughter, or Tia Campbell, I think her name is. She did something with her daughter, and first she started off saying boys don't like me because I'm fat, and then towards the end it went into because of my complexion or whatever. We're gonna get into that, but I don't know. Just to me, it's lame when you start looking at who people chose and didn't choose you, and you cry about it. Like, that's just whack to me. And ironically, understanding that, that's the only solution, though. Like, I don't think what Gabrielle Union did is a solution. She she introduced them to other thoughts on Instagram who are dark skinned, right? Nah, she showed him the boys other darker skinned women who are in the industry or whatever, and even if you got them to like more pics and be more diverse in their pic liking, right? Does that change anything when they don't pick that dark skinned woman to be their girlfriend or when they start dating? Now I'm gonna just assume they live in Miami, right? Miami, right? Doctor Miami. They live there, so their standards on women and how women look, like, it's gonna be completely superficial because of where they live at. They're definitely in proximity because their parents are celebrities and professional athletes. They're in proximity with some of these people that they're liking. Like, they can go to the game and see some of these chicks. And I'm sure they live in gated communities. They're not living in the hood. They're not around black people who probably look like them, unless it's other athletes. So I think it's inevitable that they end up liking what they like because of their environment. And then again, if they did be more cognitive, which I personally think that's something you gotta do on your own. You gotta recognize that on your own. You gotta want it for yourself, because if you're trying to police the people, tell them what to do, or make them feel bad about something they just didn't know, I don't think that's the right attempt. You're better off letting people learn on their own. Like, I remember when it comes to natural hair, most dudes would say they like natural hair, but they were confused or ignorant to the fact, right? So this is the weird thing about this whole conversation, is when black men want to say we're not colorist or whatever, we'll point to a Gabrielle Union, and apparently that's not good enough. That's the ironic part about this conversation. She's not dark enough. She doesn't have the proper features, so people don't like her being used as an example, whatever. But and I watched a video like maybe 7, 8 years ago on YouTube where the woman was breaking down about how, like, her hair is not natural and it's extensions and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, didn't dawn on me. But, like, I had to learn on my own and be interested in it. And if I'm saying this, it has to match in somewhat. I can't say, oh, I love natural curly, hair or whatever, and one of my people I point to as an example is her, because that's not her hair. But some men are. It's not that we don't know. Some dudes don't know what weave and extensions are and stuff like that, especially when it's professionally done and it looks like their hair looks all the time. But it's something that I had to learn on my own. You trying to police or preach that to somebody, I think that's just gonna turn them off. And a lot of dudes I know, when the conversation comes up, they just don't want to hear it because they don't want to feel like you're policing their choices or trying to say they're somehow brainwashed or whatever, like what they like and whatnot. I just don't think her approach was proper. At the end of the day, if you're not choosing them, none of this really matters. Like that's just what it is. I remember I watched the Grapevine video about colorism, and they were in the UK, and that conversation was weird. But I'm thinking like, okay, so what is the solution? And they were getting to that point, but then they answered their own questions and kind of like reneged on what the solutions were, right? Because the one chick was like, I think Ashley was like, well, what can they do, right? And they didn't have a real definitive answer, but it was more like, well, they can, be more complimentary towards darker skinned women and whatnot like that. And I'm like, in this Me Too age, in this Me Too movement age, like that's not gonna happen, yo. That's not, like, that stuff is done, right? And it reminds me of, they also made the point that I've been making for a while, how, because some of it could be a dude just being, just trying to gas the chick up, or doing it because they know they can get a benefit from it. Because it's like, you ever hear a comment about, black men who are hopping the fence, and then there's always that one black dude like, yeah, good, those guys can go, there's more for me. And I'm like, well, that's not the solution, that you become a womanizer and use more women, because they're not getting picked or whatever. Like, but I'm saying, like, they just say those things because they just want to gas the chick's heads up or whatever. So you don't want that. That's not cool. You don't want that. And then it kind of reminds me, like, in the Grapevine video, they said that even if a dude did give more compliments and did say those things, if his dating pattern or choices in the past don't match what he's giving credit to, it doesn't mean anything, right? You've heard the videos of the colorist chick say, Kendrick Lamar should have never done the video that he did where he was trying to pay homage to dark-skinned women because his girlfriend from high school, who he had a kid with, is light-skinned, right? So they don't want him even using his platform or resources to put on dark-skinned women or whatever. And he didn't do it properly enough, right? So it's just a lot of layers to this shit. And I don't think too many people are going to care about all that, right? Especially dudes in their position. But that also happened. I remember when Zaza Ali was doing the interview with the Vice show, and the Vice show was like, and Zaza Ali was giving tips to him on how he could be more, give more compliments to darker skinned black women and whatnot. And he going, well, I can't do that because I'm married. I'm like, nah, bro. It ain't just because you married that you can't go around doing that. It's because your wife is not black. Right? Like, imagine, you sit in the car, family shopping at Walmart or whatever. You see a sister, you be like, oh, hey, sister, you got nice natural color hair, beautiful dark skin, she glistens and whatnot. You give her that compliment. Then your wife come out with the black skin kids, and like, what value does that have if you giving her these comments and these affirmations, but that's not what you pick? So it's like, it's weird with me. I understand the colorism argument, the lack of promotion, how it looks when we one drop rule. When you turn on TV, it's always the first black to do this, first black to do that, and it's always a biracial person. Not good. I get all that. I get the lack of promotion and all that. But when chicks start complaining about choices, that's when I'm like, that's kind of lame. I really, there's nothing you can do about that. But at the same time, I understand that the solution is the choices, though, right? Because if you're not being picked, doesn't matter. I know there was like this, similar to the Tia Campbell story with her daughter. The girl actually kind of looks like Tia Campbell's daughter. It was like a darker skinned young girl in high school who was crying about, not being liked or getting the same attention that the skinny, lighter skinned girls with the 4C hair stuff was or whatever. And they all huddle up and they give her a hug and console her and whatnot. And I'm like, that don't mean anything. Because at the end of the day, when it comes time for prom or dating or relationships, if she not getting picked, she gonna still feel some type of way. Like, that was pointless what they did. Like, that was temporary at least. But at the end of the day, when it comes time to choosing and you're not being picked, you gonna still, it wasn't a solution. But as I was saying about the advice show, like, boom, if he did that, it doesn't do anything. And then it's weird too with the feminist stuff, right? Because I'll probably put her up or put her picture as the face of this video. But I commented on one of the Grapevine video. I don't even know what topic it was. And some dude, and black people got to stop doing this, man. Like when you debate and talk to somebody online, it happens on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. People just go look at your personal shit instead of debating your points or your arguments, whatever. They just want to go find dirt or whatever. Like that shit is weird. Be looking at your pictures and shit. Like stop. But I commented something on one of the Grapevine's posts, and when some moist ass feminist Grapevine listener wants to feel some type of way about it, so he comes back to my page and he goes, and there's this darker skinned fitness chick, and I post a lot of workout videos on my YouTube channel. I'm a power lifter or whatever, lift heavy ass shit. But a lot of women watch my stuff and they like my videos or whatever. So I know most of them can't do what I do, and then there's the whole thought process that if I lift weights that I'm gonna look like a man and all this other stuff. So there's one chick, and I forget her name, but I think she's even African, dark skin, whatever, and she's popping on the gram, and she's a trainer or whatever in New York City. So I shared her picture, and I was like, I captioned it, black ice cream, and she works out, and I put it on Facebook. Now it wasn't on purpose, but where I tagged her name so you can go follow her. It was near her derriere or whatever. But this moist ass dude comes to my page talking about, and you would be objectifying this black woman, and you put the tag on her butt, and I'm like, what the, like, it wasn't really for me that I was promoting her. It was for the black women who follow me, who, here's an example of a black woman who's fit and strong and is not look masculine. Check her out. Like, that's what I did it for. It wasn't for me to be thirsty. She has a dude. I don't look at her like that. But she's an attractive sister. She's very, very dark skinned, got natural big fro, and she work out. I just wanted to promote that. And not even for men, but for other women to go check her out. And even, so this idea of just giving compliments and all that stuff, I don't see how that being a solution either. Where you gotta acknowledge that there are feminist women who shit on dudes who try to even do that. Even moist ass dudes policing who we like on Instagram or who we share, whatever. I got a video about, male fantasies and some of that coming up too. Because a female had said something to me that I thought was just weird. She was like, men should stop liking certain women on Instagram and they should pick regular females and what like that. And I'm like, well, basically you're telling men that they can't have fantasies. When women are in their, man crush Wednesday groups or posting pictures with the gray sweatpants and the beard groups and all that, they promote what they like and what they want to see. Why is it that that's okay, but you want to police men when they like what they like, or when they, right? We have built-in detectors, right? We know what we like. Yeah, I like to tell us what we like, but we know what we like. It's built in. Like, we got this tool that's connected to us. So you can't, do nothing with that. But I just don't think Gabrielle Union approach is right. I hope she got permission from them to talk about this publicly, because I already know all the colors chicks are going to be covering this eventually, and when they're growing up and their dating choices will be criticized and scrutinized. Like, that just to me was a setup. I really don't understand either how Gabrielle Union, who was this sexually liberated, thought box in her 20s and 30s, how she was living her best life, can critique this conversation either, being like, she lived this whole do what the F you want to do, forget marriage and monogamy, just get ran through. And, I have my philosophies on why she's on TV now crying why she can't have kids. But I just don't even see how she could be the face or the voice to even try to critique them on that, when you encouraging women to be thoughts. And you eat ass. Fuck out of here. But that's my video. I don't see what she did helpful. I don't see how that works. Just telling them to like pictures that are dark skinned women doesn't matter if they're not choosing them. If that's not who they're gonna date, it's just pointless. It's all about who you choose, and that whole conversation of colorism. That's, at the end of the day, it's what it's about. And if they're not being chosen, there is no solution other than that. So, yeah. Now, even with the promotion, more promotion.
whole family. That probably would make her uncomfortable, and I don't want that.
Is there an issue?
Not an issue. It's more like just something that I kind of noticed. If you look at all my friends, church and school, I'm the chubby friend. And it's not like, oh, God, I just have accepted it, you know?
You're not the fat friend, Chris.
I noticed that I'm left out. You know, and other guys and talk to them, I'm left out. I'm left to the side. And I think that's why.
Guys talk to you.
It's different. It is.
And do you think it has something to do with your size?
Absolutely. I know it is. I'm not saying that no guys want chubby girls. I'm just saying that that's personally me.
But I don't think that's the case. I think that's the way you're saying it.
Because it's not that I'm ugly or am I ugly?
No.
Why would she ask me that? Why would she ask me, am I ugly? I'm your mama. I only see beauty in your eyes.
My size is
no, baby. You're gorgeous. And you know, look at this face. This is my face. It's brown. It's a combination.
That's something, too. A lot of the guys like light-skinned girls.
Like what?
A lot of the guys like light-skinned girls. Look at our family. Look at the family. You and Dad, light-skinned, dark-skinned. Auntie Ted and Uncle Ted, light-skinned, dark-skinned. Auntie Len and Uncle Des, light-skinned, dark-skinned. The only two dark-skinned families is Auntie Lisa, Uncle Errol, and Nana and Grandpa.
That's still two. It's not. Look at all these beautiful brown women in the world. Look at Gabrielle Union. She's brown, gorgeous, amazing husband. Look at Kelly Rowland, beautiful. Like, these are beautiful brown women everywhere.
I know, but Mom, think about
all around you.
You're light-skinned, so you don't really know exactly how it feels, you know?
All these things that you want to have answers to, sometimes I don't. And right now I don't. What to do, what to tell her, how to lift her, how to make her smile, how to tell her not to worry. I gotta figure it out.
If you notice that right there, the examples Tia used she used Gabrielle Union, which, again, when we want to make the point that we're not colorist or we like darker skinned women, we're told we can't use her because she doesn't have the proper features and she's not dark enough. Like, man, the goalposts keep getting moved. If you pick a darker woman, it's because she doesn't have features. This is weird. Like, I was on some it was a post about the same topic, but black men were sharing, pictures of women that they like, and this woman just ripped through every one of them and said, she's contouring, she's this, she's that, her nose is this and that. I'm like, damn, like, y'all just moved the whole, like, there's a whole natural girl hair group on Instagram, and she just shitted on every one of them because although their hair was natural, like, they had other stuff going on that most men don't even think about or care about. Like, that shit was just weird. Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, right, I think I'm good. I'm affirmed in what I like, and I can present you some examples. And this chick just shot them all down. I'm like, but wait a minute. When black women say they like dark-skinned men, right, they post their meme saying, this is what we mean, not that, right? Because there's that video of the African lady who talking about men are full of shit when they say they like natural hair, but her hair looked like trash. Like, she was not presentable. Her hair was not done. She just took off her damn scarf and it was all over the place. And she tried to make that argument, which is just extreme and ridiculous. And again, you have women who still do these these rigged contests. They'll compare such and such who are not promoted the same way and don't get the same attention, and say pick. And if you pick wrong, you're colorist. And Sarge has already talked about that and kind of made the example about how, before Lupita it was somebody else, and now Lupita's here, it's not anybody else, or Lupita's not good enough now, or whatever. It's just weird, man. The goalpost constantly gets moved on that conversation, which I think is one of the reasons why a lot of men just don't give a shit on the topic sometimes. Because again, like, I know one post I was on, this woman, she's cool, but on this issue we don't agree. She went all the way to Zamunda to try to prove, right? Like, she got the darkest woman with the deepest features to say, would any of you black men date her? If not, you're colorist. Like, that was pretty much suggestive. And I'm like, well, why we got to go all the way there? Why can't we talk about dark-skinned black American women or even black African American women who live in the States? Like, why we got to go all the way to the motherland in some deep dark Congo cave in the Congo or some shit like that? Why can't we just pick from here? Like, you just stop with the comment. But at the end of the day, again, especially when it comes to younger girls and stuff like that, I just don't see the solution outside of not getting picked, because that's sort of what it boils down to. All the other more promotion, more validation, that's cool. That gives them jobs and opportunities and whatnot. But if they walking down the street and they looking and they see this and they see that, and the weird thing is though, is like, I don't think most people most black Americans, most of us are not blue black and most of us are not light skinned. Like, we're all in the middle, or for the most part, or I'm closer to the darker skin part. But I'm saying most of us ain't Tyrese, and most of us aren't Tia Campbell, where most of us are in the middle. So that's just confusing too.